Hello everyone and welcome to session, I didn't see what session this is. Hello everyone and welcome to session 68 of this channel. My name is Brianna and I am the dyer, designer, and human behind The Little Wolf Knits and this YouTube channel. It is Tuesday, November 26th, and it is about 10:30 in the morning. It is gray and gloomy and cold outside, and we are into fall. It's fall. It's not winter yet. It's still fall. But I am here today with you in what I think will be our last podcast of the year, which I did not realize until I literally went to click record and was like, oh, I'll just show this thing next time. And I was like, oh, next week will be Vlogmas. So I think this is our last podcast session of the year, which feels wild. And it feels like a disappointing one because I don't have that many things finished. I have so many whips that look so different from when you last saw them. So it'll just be a little bit of a whip parade to finish out this year. And then if you're following along during Vlogmas, hopefully you will see me get a lot of these things done and I will head into the new year with a clean slate. But before we jump into all of the whips, let's start with what I'm wearing. This is one of my probably most worn fingering weight sweaters. I don't have that many, I'll be honest. I think I have 3 or 4. I have my C Street, my E Street, I feel like I have other designs. Happy Hour, I guess you can count as one. And there's one more I'm forgetting that y'all are probably screaming at me about. And then I have this, and I have an old sweater I made. I don't even remember the name of. So I only have a handful of fingering weight sweaters. But this is the Wool and Honey by Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits. And it has this really cool slip stitch design that makes this honeycomb. And the yarn is an MCN, as you can probably see. Look at all the pilling from Explorer Knits and Fibers. I don't even remember what this colorway is, honestly. This is so old. This yarn is very old. But I love it. It's a super neutral. And I know that these snag a bit and was just talking to someone about theirs. And they were making a second one with a non-superwash so that this would felt down a little bit. And I was like, that is such a good idea. So it may be a sweater that gets remade with some hand spun that I have. Although I don't love a circular yoke typically. And I'm making another garter sweater that I'm really liking the fit of. So this might be my one and only Wool and Honey for now. That's all that I'm wearing. I do have a blanket. This is a cozy, classic, cozy comfort throw that is behind me and kind of on my lap because it's chilly, like I said. And this is with some old December Countdown colorways. But that is all that I'm wearing. So let's just wrap up the year with some big admin things. Admin, there are only a few things to talk about as we come to a close for this year. The first thing that I'll say is the thing I forgot to say last time until the end of the video, if you made it there. I have a trunk show at Grace and Purl in Avon by the Sea, New Jersey, this Saturday, November 30th for a Small Business Saturday. If you're in the area, come stop by. I'm going to have so much yarn. But there are also some really cool things that are happening in the shop and in the area to celebrate Small Business Saturday. So it will be a really awesome time to come and hang out. Rhinebeck Rumps is coming to an end. This is our final week. So if you are joining along with us, let's give it one last push. and really try and finish up our bottoms if we can. And if not, that's okay too. We can just give a last push effort and keep working on those bottoms together. It has been such a joy to spend the last few months making bottoms with you, and it definitely will not be the end of it, because myself and my friend Natalie of Knitty Natty are running a Mal, or Cal, I guess, Mal, for knitted bottoms in the new year. It will start at the end of December and go through April, and it is called the Bottoms Up Mal, and it is going to be so awesome. I'm really excited. I know Natalie is going to be casting on a pair of pants. I believe the beachcomber flares. I think I'm going to be making a dress, at least one dress, maybe a few. So I'm super excited, and I know folks are already chatting away about what they're going to cast on. This Cal will be, I mean, you're welcome to join us. However, anything official, entries for prizes, chatter, Zoom, cast on party will be exclusive to both of our memberships, the Wolfpack and Love and Stitches membership. I know her membership is opening, I believe, on December 3rd and stays open for a few days. My Wolfpack is always open. It's rolling admissions. You can enter at any time. However, you can actually, instead of joining for a full quarter and committing to that, you can right now for the next week or so join for a December only sort of option into the Wolfpack. And I'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like if you're thinking about joining. So December only, you're paying just for a singular month of the Wolfpack, but you will get access to a monthly knit night that I host on Zoom. We have at least one book club happening in the month of December. We will be having a cast on party with my friend Natalie and her membership. We will be doing exclusive prizes and chatter threads, channels in the Discord server for the Wolfpack membership, so folks can share, encourage each other, cast on things together, plan things together. And there will also be access to an exclusive colorway. This December, there's actually going to be a few exclusive colorways that the Wolfpack has access to. One is the colorway that was created for the Bottoms Up Mal with Natalie. We actually dyed it while she was here together, so that's super cool. The other is our Wolfpack quarterly club, and that is, do I want to tell you all? It's pie. It's pie. Different pies every quarter. My alpha tier of the Wolfpack and I dye a different pie colorway. We just started this new theme the last quarter. So this is our second pie colorway, and it's very seasonal and autumnal. It is pumpkin pie, and it's called Let's Give 'Em Pumpkin to Talk About. And it's so good. So you'll have access to both of those colorways. And while I'm sharing along in all of my Vlogmas things, I also create a movie calendar where myself and Michael, we watch movies every single night during the month of, a few times a year, but during the month of December, we watch Christmassy, holiday, wintry sort of themed movies, and I make a calendar and invite all of you to watch along with me. And we have a little chatter thread where we just talk if people are watching the movies, and it's super fun. So you get all of that for the price of 1 month in the membership. And there are 3 different tiers that you can choose. Just the basic, beta, which gives you a 10% off discount code. So if you're planning on buying yarn that month or that quarter, it actually might be cheaper for you to pay to level up to that tier and then get the discount code. And then the alpha tier, which is the highest tier, and they have some exclusives where they get to have a say on creating colorways with me, naming colorways, thinking about club collections, themes. They kind of get the insider scoop. They're almost like my board of trustees, where they get a say on what I'm doing before it goes to the rest of the Wolfpack or before it goes out to the public. So if you're interested, we would love to have you. And yeah, I'm super excited for all of the things to come in that. That was the bulk of Advent. I think I actually covered all of my advent, all of my admin that I had. So we have our Mal, our Rhinebeck Rumps, our bottoms up, wolf pack opening, lots of exclusive colorways tied to that. And the last admin thing I will just remind you of, because I know Instagram is not super great these days, my East Street sweater with the slit arms, I was wearing it last week in that video. If you haven't watched that one yet, is now live and available on Instagram and Ravelry. If you head over to Instagram, you can actually comment on the reel on release day and get a coupon code for the pattern. But that is all the admin, so let's talk about what I finished. I have not finished that much. If I'm being honest, I pretty much finished nothing. The only thing that I brought with you today to show you for my finished objects is something that you've seen already, but it looks a little bit different. It's in its final form. So I brought my Beetlejuice Countdown. This is 30 ounces, a little over really, 30 ounces of fiber that I dyed, spun, and plied, inspired by my Beetlejuice, with my Beetlejuice October countdown. And they're all washed and snapped and skeined, as well as a 10-ounce skein of yarn can be, because this is a big kahuna. And I feel like I have triplets like this, but they were my little babies. I don't know what they'll become. We are unsure at this point in time whether Michael will be using this and what he would use it for. Oh, some sort of sweater. Just dropped a baby. Some sort of sweater, but it is beautiful. It plumped up. Let me see. Can I show you? It plumped so beautifully. I tried to show it last week, but I think it's hard to see. But it plumped really nicely. It is a 2-ply. It is a fractal. There is so much color play and color movement happening in these skeins. And I think the really cool thing is seeing how other people spun up their countdown and how different it looks. I know my one friend, MC of Blame the Knots, did a 3-ply. And it looks totally, totally different. So this is a lot of yarn. Even if Michael does use it, I'm not sure that he would use the entire thing. And these two, I think, are most cohesive. This one, honestly, I think it's just these blues. But this is the most colorful skein. So honestly, I think I could even use this for a sweater for myself and then potentially use these 5-ish skeins of yarn combined for Michael, for a sweater for him. So we will see what these become, but I wanted to show you them before I officially put them away. I really should mark them so I know what order they go in case I want to use them in that way, but I'm sure I won't. But that is the only thing that I've finished this past week, but I have been whipping away. So let's get into a little bit of a whip parade. I had big plans for last week, and plans didn't exactly work out as I imagined them, but I still got a lot done on all of my whips, so I am not complaining. Let's start with the whip that has been on my needles the longest, and at this point isn't even fitting into the project bag. It can if I really squish it in, but I'm only working on it at home, so I have not squished it in today. This is in my Coven collective project bag that I will be retiring for the year after this use. Found my chapstick, and in it I have my final skein of birthday suit on my Opti base for my Maurizio sweater from Knitwearbyjoan. And you will see that this sweater now has, I was going to say sleeves. It has a sleeve and half of a sleeve. So the last thing that needs to happen on the sweater is I finish this sleeve up and add a neckband, and it is done. This is wild. So I was showing this to Michael yesterday and he was like, oh, that looks really skinny. The whole thing does. And I had to remind him that cables really block out. So I'm imagining this will look much more open. And this sleeve for sure will block out a bit more than it is right now, because right now it's just sort of scrunching up and folding in on itself, almost like ribbing with all of the purl and knitting cabled sections that are happening. But I followed the pattern to a T. I don't think I changed anything there. Let's see. 9. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I am on this last little, this is a 6-round repeat at this point, and I'm on the last 6-round repeat before I will start decreasing. It doesn't decrease that many stitches, so it won't be too much of a change, but it feels like a nice halfway point. I finished from this point to the end on Saturday. So I think I have 1 good day's left of knitting on this one, although I won't have that much time today. So tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow, it would be really nice if I could finish this and the neckband tomorrow, if not Thursday or by the end of this week. But I do not want to take this project into December with me because it is my last gift knit that is on the needles, and I am ready for gift knitting to be done. And I am hoping to head into December with only selfish knits. So the plan is for this to be done, and you probably won't even see it as a finished object unless you watch my Vlogmas, because I will be giving this away for Christmas before the new year. So yeah, I don't think you'll actually see the end of the sweater. So check out Vlogmas if you want to stay up to date with all of these projects. The next whip that I have is in my Snickle and Mr. B bag, and you can see it's getting pretty full. Now, it is the same thing. It is my garter sweater. It is a tonal on Surrey and a variegated on my sunfish base. And it looks like I'm still working on the body. However, if you look closely, you might notice that the body looks smaller or shorter than it did last week. And if you thought that, you would be correct. However, it's not because I frogged back a few inches. It would be because I frogged the entire sweater and reknit it, because I realized I was using the wrong needle size and working at the wrong gauge. And I did the entire math for the sweater with my fingering weight gauge instead of my DK weight gauge. So I was so close to finishing the body, I considered just finishing it, but I realized I wasn't loving the fabric. I wasn't enjoying the actual process as much with that needle. So I frogged the entire thing. Honestly, it took me longer to frog the sweater with Michael's help, 2 balls of yarn. It wasn't even the Surrey getting stuck. It's just 2 balls of yarn twisting around each other. I didn't want to wind them into one ball, which maybe was a mistake, but whatever. We got it done. But it took me longer to do that pretty much than it took to reknit at least the entire back panel. And I knit the back panel, blocked it to make sure that my gauge is what I thought it was, and then knit the neckband again. I'm loving it so much more. I'm loving the fabric. I am loving the process, and it is just flying. So my goal for this, I actually think I'm going to get about 5 or 6 rounds done tonight, or today throughout the course of the day. 5 or 6 rounds, 5 or 6 inches. And I am taking this to movie knitting. So I would love to finish the body of this today. That feels like a very lofty goal, but I really would love to at least get to the ribbing by today, if not finish it, because this is going to have some long ribbing at the bottom. But I would love to finish the body of this in the next day or 2, and then be working on sleeves, or at least one sleeve over the weekend and finish this in the very beginning of December, I think that would be an amazing, amazing goal. Because if I don't, I'm going to need to change out this project bag. Honestly, I might even do that on Friday. I might change out this project bag and give it a little refresh and retire this autumnal bag as we head into December. Because I have a lot of Christmassy and winter bags, and I feel like I don't get to use them that much. Although I do use them through February, March. So we'll see what happens there. And then the last whip is my no stress, no deadline whip. It is in my Barley Pearls hedgehog bag. And it is my jelly roll blanket from K. Jones. Ooh, this is a pepperminty refresh from Tuft Woolens, and it smells really good. I smelled it when I opened the bag. And you will see I am working on my third color in my Coco Countdown calendar that I'm using to make this blanket. And I just barely joined, so you can see it right there. But I've done some math and figuring out for this blanket. So we have this first color, and it goes into this second color, which is until 1942. And then this third colorway, which I think is Mariachi Plaza. And I've decided, I've done some math. I wasn't sure which way the strips were going to be, but I decided if I do like 2.3 colorways per strip, it breaks it up so that it's not just the same blocks of color next to each other the entire way, which I wanted. I wanted a little bit of offsetting for the different blocks of color. So I'm glad I figured that out, but I also think that doing it this way will give me 14 or 15 strips, and they're all measuring 3 inches unblocked. So I'll get about a 42-inch blanket at least, if not 45 by like 60, which feels like a nice rectangular blanket for me. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. I actually am getting to the point where I'm really like weighing this, honestly, while I am working on it. So what I might do, just to make this a little bit more mindless, is put the cake of yarn, the mini that I'm working with, on a scale, wind off until I've used as much yarn as I want to be using for the strip, and break it. So then I know I can just work until I get to the end of that strip, cast off, and then I can use the remainder of that mini to start at the bottom and start my second strip. So I think I might do that today again, just to make my life a little bit easier, because as you can see, it's tiny. So once I start working on it, I can get a fair amount done. And if I do that, this can be a secondary project that I bring with me to the movies tonight. However, once I start working on the second strip, this no longer becomes as portable or mindless, because I will have to be looking at what I'm doing to pick up a stitch at the end of each row. It's not impossible, and I probably will be able to do it for the second strip, maybe even the third strip, but at some point this is going to get pretty big and will be a stay-at-home project. So my plan is actually to work on this pretty consistently throughout the month of December, potentially finish this throughout the month of December. I think that would be really, really exciting, and have a blanket to use by the end of the year, for the new year. So that's where I am with that. If you watch Vlogmas, you will definitely see a lot of this. I would really like actually maybe to plan or try and do one color a day, or even like 5 colors a week. I would need to do like 6 colors a week. 6, 5, 30, something like that, because I'm only on my 3rd color. But that is all that I've worked on. I did not start a spinning project on my wheel. I have not touched my drop spindles. But I am itching to get something going, because I think I'm going to be working on my Scooby-Doo spin throughout the month of December as well, because I will be opening up my Super Shitty December countdown, a yarn countdown from ZZ Textiles. I will have a solstice countdown from Little Fiber Co. That is days 14 to 21, so I won't open that until for a few weeks. And then I have a, I believe, 12-day countdown from Akara Yarns that is in Canada, and we're working on getting it shipped because of the Canada Post strike. So I'm not sure that I will get it at this point. I won't get it in the beginning of December. But whenever I get it, I will start opening it. And I'm not planning to spin any of those during the month of December, at least until my Scooby-Doo spin is done. So I should just open those. And there are lots of whips and projects for me to keep busy with. I also have a sock skeins, 250-gram skeins from the Cozy Knitter. That is a Advent stripe sock where I knit one stripe of color a day. So I will definitely be busy. And I don't know that I'll have too much time or space to cast on anything new. But like I said, if you want to see all of these projects come to their fruition in finality, make sure you're watching along on Vlogmas and seeing where I am with all of those. The vlogs will be posted every single day on this YouTube channel. You can turn on notifications or subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any. And then what I like to do is just add all the Vlogmases that I'm watching into a playlist so that I can watch them in order in case I don't get to watch them every single day. But that is all that I'm working on. So let's just wrap up this year with what's in the shop. There are a few things to talk to you about as far as what's in the shop this week and sort of planning ahead for the rest of not only December, but heading into 2025. So I just wanted to keep you in the loop. First and foremost, I brought something to show you. It's a little sneak peek. All of my Super Shitty December boxes are gone. They are sold out. I'm sorry if you missed out. We will be back next year for year 5. I'm sorry, I don't have any left. However, the single skein option is still available and it is so, so good. So what I've been doing for the full skein, at least the last 2 or 3 years, is taking the poster for that season of Schitt's Creek and creating a colorway based on that poster. And this one is amazing. I'm going to show it. So if you don't want to see it, now would be a good time to look away. I'm going to tell you the name of it, but I'm not going to describe with words any of the colors or aspects of the skein in case people want to stay surprised. So go ahead and look away now. I'm going to show the skein in 3, 2, 1. Are you gone? Okay. So the name of this is All Is Calm. And it is, I think, so good. It's getting, I was going to say it's getting a little blown out, but that is pretty accurate. Maybe still a little blown out, but oh, it's really good. I love it. I'm already thinking about what I want to do with it because I will definitely be making something with it. Maybe a garter sweater. Honestly, maybe a... yeah, I don't know. It's really, really good. So, okay, I have put it away. I'm not going to show it anymore. So if you were looking away, you can look back now. But All Is Calm is still available and will be available for the next few weeks. And I will ship it out by the end of the new year. And then it will potentially retire forever. So if you want it, grab it now. If you miss out on a Super Shitty December box and you are heartbroken and you are so sad, do not fear because we are doing February Valentine inspired boxes, and these are inspired this coming year by How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It is going to be such a good box. I still don't know if I'm keeping fiber for myself. I think I am. or yarn. I really will depend on what I end up doing this December and how much fiber I end up spinning through. If I spin through Scooby-Doo, I can spin through something else in January, and then I'll spin through something in February while I'm opening that box, and then maybe use that in March. But there are 14-day, 28-day, and single-day options, and a fingering weight base, a DK weight base, or a mixed fiber option, and I think I'm going to do the fiber one. But super excited. Those will be closing this next week. I'm going to start dyeing them in December. We have a really full dye schedule this month, so there's not a lot of wiggle room. So if you want one, make sure to grab one now. Our November clubs are closed, and I actually didn't think about dyeing and bringing my December clubs to you here. This is like a weird thing that happens, especially at this point in the year. I wasn't thinking that this is the last podcast, and technically it's not December yet. So I was thinking next week would be the first week of December, so I will show the colorways for my December clubs, but we won't have a podcast. So make sure you're on my newsletter. Make sure you're watching Vlogmas if you want, but my December clubs will be available very, very soon. They're the last month. It is the last month of these clubs. We are wrapping up Friends. We are wrapping up How I Met Your Mother. And then the year will be over and we will be starting something new. But before I get to something new, I also just want to share my holiday and winter yarns are in the shop. I am bringing so many of them to my trunk show at Grace and Purl. So depending on how it goes there, I'm imagining that I will have a fair amount of ready to ship stock, which will be really, really fun. And my hope is to get it into the shop as soon as I can after this weekend. So if anybody wants to order ready to ship yarn, they can get some holiday yarn to cast on a sweater to work on, or pants or a dress or whatever you want to work on through the month of December, potentially to get done in time for the holidays, or maybe even a New Year outfit. I think that would be super fun, or just to get a jump start on your winter sweaters. And I'm super excited. So again, if you want to make sure that you're in the loop and don't miss out on anything, watch my Vlogmas videos where I'll talk about things there, but also make sure you're subscribed to my newsletter and turn on your notifications on Instagram, because I will post things over on Instagram as well. Probably first, if I'm being honest, before things go to the newsletter. So that will be where you can keep yourself in the loop. The last thing that I want to talk about is my clubs for next year. So every year, since pretty much my second year probably in business, I have done a monthly like yarn and charm club. And this year, instead of breaking things into quarters, we are actually doing one club the entirety of the year. And this is going to be a really cool club that you probably, if you like the theme, want to get every single month. I am planning to use all of the skeins together. I don't know for what yet. Maybe a blanket or something like that would be super, super cool. But it is a book series that I read and loved so, so much as a kid. I always loved reading as a kid. But I like distinctly remember this series and my fourth grade teacher really changing my feelings about books and reading for fun and reading for pleasure. And it is, drumroll please, a series of unfortunate events. So this club will be a series of unfortunate yarns, and it will be inspired every single month by one of the books. So what I will be doing is reading the book and dyeing a colorway based on that book every single month throughout 2025. And there will be a sneaky 13th skein colorway that ends up in the shop, because there are 13 books in the series, that we probably fill into December of 2025, because 2026 will start a new club. But I'm super, super excited about that. I'm still undecided about whether that will be my only club or whether there will be a secondary sort of fandom club that happens alongside that. I know I typically do 2 club colorways a month, but honestly, sales are hit and miss. Some colorways don't sell at all, and some do really well. So if you have ideas about whether you would like to see a second club colorway every month, or whether it's easier to just do one so you don't have to pick and choose every single month, or you're really excited about this Lemony Snicket inspired club and you're planning to join us, or you're not super excited and you're wishing there was something else, please let me know. Let me know in the comments below so that I can plan and decide whether another club will also run throughout 2025. But those are really exciting things to come. I don't think there's too much else for me to talk about at this point. So let's just talk about life for a second. I feel like I say this every week, but not too much has been happening around here other than work and yarn. There is yarn everywhere. It is coming out of my ears. So much yarn. I feel like dying for a trunk show, dying for a few big collabs, dying for those exclusive Wolfpack colorways that I talked about, and holiday yarns is just pretty wild right now, and I am dying. So much yarn. It is a fun problem to have, but man, I was really drowning in yarn for a little bit, so I think we're probably going to have to do a clear the shelf sale. I guess I should have said that last time. If you made it this far, there may or may not be a sale coming. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram and subscribe to my newsletter to get a very, very large sale to clear my shelves. Other than that, what have we done? Last week we went to the movies. We saw Heretic. Is that what we saw last week? That feels like it was so long ago. Is that right? If it was good. It was made you think. There was a lot to it. Michael and I both left the movie thinking there were different endings. Then we talked to our friend Kent, who also was like, there is no right ending. And I thought it was really great. We saw a lot of movies this week. We also saw Red One on Saturday, which was super cute. Kids movie about Santa Claus getting kidnapped by a Christmas witch, and it was adorable. We planned to see Wicked. It did not work out with how busy we were, but I cannot wait. I'm really, really excited, and honestly being a little picky about when I'm going to go see it because I want to see it in Dolby, and there are so many movies out right now that time slots for Dolby are limited because we only have one Dolby theater in our movie theater here. But we are planning to see Gladiator 2 tonight. And I had to watch Gladiator, the original, yesterday because I had never seen it. I know I didn't have to, but I did. So that is something that we're doing tonight. And then, like I said, hopefully seeing Wicked another day this week. And if you like yarn, there might be some Wicked related things coming soon. I should have said that in the last section as well. Whatever, it's fine. This is just like life and spoilers of things to come. What else have we done? Last week was a lot of yarn dyeing. We saw a lot of movies. I had a book club with my Wolfpack members. Michael and I had tickets to see a comedy show on Friday, but it got canceled because it was snowing. It wasn't snowing. There was nothing substantial happening, but I don't know who the comics were. It's called Don't Tell Comedy. It's like a secret comedy show. Basically, you don't know the venue or the lineup. So I don't know if comics had a hard time traveling and getting into town, or there was just uncertainty about what the weather was going to look like. So it got canceled, which was a super bummer. We were really sad about that. But it just means we got some extra time to hang out at home. We watched a Mateo Lane special on YouTube, which was so funny. If you have not seen it and you like comedy, Mateo Lane is so hilarious. So that was really great. I forgot what it's called, hair transplants and something like that. I think it is his most recent special. And then, yeah, just dyeing a lot of yarn, winding a lot of yarn, labeling a lot of yarn, prepping for Thanksgiving, which is happening in the US here this week, and planning to take a few days off. And feeling so ready for December and Vlogmas, but also emotionally so ready. Logistically not ready at all, because December 1st is this Sunday. We're actually going to be coming home from a trunk show, and I feel like I haven't prepped any of my advents. I haven't laid them out. I haven't given Michael any of our advents. So I think this week, maybe Friday, will be a lot of diving head first into Advent Vlogmas season, because with Thanksgiving being so late this year, there wasn't like that week or so of adjustment time that we usually get. And like I said, a lot of finishing up whips. But that is pretty much the only plan for this week. We're seeing Michael's family for the holiday, and yeah, then the trunk show. So I can't believe that I will not be talking to you in this way next week. However, I will be talking to you every single day on Vlogmas, which is super exciting and a very different way to interact with y'all, which I like. But if Vlogmas is not your thing, if you don't think that I will see you again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for an incredible year. Thank you for supporting me and sticking around. And I hope you have a wonderful end to what has felt like the longest and quickest year yet. If I don't see you until next year, have an incredible, like I said, end of year, Happy New Year, and until next time, take care of each other. Bye!